Hello guys and welcome to a new League of Legends video. Almost 2 weeks ago I made a video talking about the new build I'm using on Udyr, and today we are going to do pretty much the same thing but kinda updated because this is the build I used to get Diamond 2 after the reset, and it's working pretty well for me, and I hope this build will help you too. Anyway, this is a early game focused build, kinda supportive, full tank Udyr. The runes are standard AD with attack speed runes. I hope you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm going to write the runes I'm using in the description as well as the masteries if you are interested. I'm taking Ghost for the movement speed. I guess everybody takes Ghost Udyr nowadays, it's just too good. I really feel like Ghost is going to get nerfed soon. Everybody uses it lately. At level 1 I start with Tiger Stance because it has more single target damage than Phoenix, and I'm never going to get Turtle Stance until level 16 because I really don't use it. I prefer to have the bonus damage from maxing Phoenix and Tiger Stance early. It really helps with the early game damage. You have almost the same damage as going Phoenix without any Tiger points and rushing Trinity Force. It's pretty much the same as rushing Trinity Force on Phoenix Stance build. You can't lose the movement speed, to be honest, but if you get used to how to play this build, you'll do just fine, trust me. I had some problems at first, but after like 10 games I was fine, and I got used to this playstyle. Anyway, Graves kinda fucks me up in the early game by cheesing me stealing both my chems. This is a new cheese going around. You take your camp, then you go strike for the enemy jungle, so you cheese them until they buff before they have time to do anything. I've seen a lot of high-low players doing this cheese thing, and I think I'm going to start doing it too. It's really effective. For like 2 minutes I was so useless after he stole my red buff. I wasn't even level 4 and I had no points in my turtle stance. And since the timers on the jungle camps are so long at the moment, it really sets you behind for quite a bit. Here I'm just walking around trying to get some XP for my level 4 so I can get beer stance, because I really wanted to gank, and gank without beer stance is kinda useless. So I kinda steal back what he got from me. Now since I'm level 4 I can do whatever I want, so I gank bot cause they overextend so much, and we got first blood. Pretty standard stuff in early game. Later I wanna talk about the build more, cause this game was kind of a stomp. This was the last game I played like 3 days ago, I haven't played since. And it was my promo game for Diamond 2. Anyway, try to aim to get your Stalker's Blade as soon as possible, and if you don't have enough gold for Stalker's Blade, just buy a Hunter's Potion. Oops, I kinda skipped a bit, unfortunately. Here Malzahar was low HP, so I figured out Graves will try to kill him, so I ghost in to save him. I expected Malzahar to die, but he was pretty lucky, and we got a free kill, pretty much for nothing. Thought Graves was so obvious. That, yeah, he was so obvious. Here my bot lane is kinda winning, so I just come to steal their gold because I can. As always, when you gank a lane and you kill them, push the wave so they lose as much farm as possible. You see all minions, they are losing this entire wave, like 12 minions or more. 10 since I just killed their jungler and their bot lane is dead. We are just going to take the Drake because it's also free. Or maybe not. Because Lux is here, yeah. I totally forgot about this. Caitlyn was something like, what the fuck is Lux doing in the tribe bush? And I was kinda surprised too. That dragon should have been very, very free. But yeah. It was a good time to start Drake, but Lux really reacted well to our call. Anyway, I just keep doing my jungle at the moment, since the Drake plans were kinda ruined by Lux. That was to be honest, but after all it was a good call from us, and you should do such calls after you kill their bot lane. But anyway, it doesn't always work as planned. This wave is going to push towards Irelia, so I'm trying to go top and gank this way now. You should always be looking at the enemy waves to see if the lane is going to push in a few minutes or not. If I jump back a bit, like 15 seconds, no more, I need to jump like 30 seconds behind. Yeah. So, I'm watching this Swain, and as soon as I see him using his spells on the minions, I know his wave is going to push towards Irelia. Just look at his wave and at Irelia's wave. It's pretty obvious that he will push, so I come top because he is going to overextend if he wants to CS properly. Because his wave is pushed, so yeah, a pretty free gank, as always. I try to farm as much as possible and I never force ganks. I always go for the free ganks, or I counter jungle the enemy junglers. Wasting time trying to force ganks is kinda useless. You can just farm until you get your core items, until you get some armor, some tanky items. So, and when you get like 2 items, you can just dive towers if your lanes are pushing pretty hard and you can gank otherwise. Just farm your first items, then you can dive. Udyr is really good at diving, he's really tanky and fast, so you should not worry about diving. Also, sometimes him even taking redemption on Udyr, as I said, this is more of a supportive early game build, so in early game I try to carry as much as possible, turning pretty much disruption for the enemy team, and half a support for my team, because I'm buying Solary almost every game, and redemption if I feel like my team needs it. So here I'm diving, as I said, easy dives with Udyr. You can see I'm tanking the tower for quite a while, and we get 2 kills. Yeah, unfortunately Graves picks me off, but it's still worth it because we can take this tower now, or at least damage it. Fast forward, my team is dying. It happens all the time for your team to die. And since they have a lot of magic damage, I'm going for Solary first item. I usually take Randuin for the slow when the enemy team has an AD based comp, but in this situation I would always take Solary second item. Solary is really good now, and the best thing is it stacks. So if I get Solary, and my support also gets it, and he also gets redemption, we will have 2 items which heal and 2 items which shield our team. And that's pretty massive in a team fight, to be honest. 2 redemptions and 2 Solaris in a team fight really makes a difference. And your damage is really not bad, because you have your Tiger Stance and Phoenix bot maxed. Your damage should be really good, even if you go for tanky supportive items. Here is another pretty free dive. Also, there's a thing I want to talk about. People never try to gank from behind the tower. If you're playing someone like Udyr, Hekarim, you can pretty much gank from behind the tower by using your ghost. Well, I didn't use my ghost this time, but ganking from behind the tower if you're playing a bruiser or a tank is really effective, because you can tank it for quite a while, and the enemy laner has nowhere to run, basically. I take TCS so it doesn't get wasted by the tower, and here I want to give my blue buff to Mazar since I already got one. I'm kinda skeptical when I give my blue buff away. I'm always afraid that my mid laner will lose it. I always have that fear that my mid laner will fuck up and lose the buff when I give it away. Anyway, if you're really fed and you're using this build and you want more damage, I recommend you to go for Titanic Hydra or Frozen Mallet. But I don't really take Frozen Mallet unless I either need the slow to stay in range so they can't kite me, or if I need the slow to peel for my carries. That Frozen Mallet slow is really effective to peel your carries in a way, since you only have your E, your bear stance, as CC, so extra slow is really useful. This is why I also take Randuin's Omen instead of Deadman's Plate. Deadman's Plate is more of a offensive option, but Randuin works both offensive and defensive, because you can either use the activation from Randuin to peel and help your team, or you can use it to slow the enemy team so you can catch them and kill them, basically. But since in this situation I could not take Randuin because they had really weak AD damage, I had to go for Frozen Mallet for the slow, even though it's kinda an expensive item, but I was fit, so it was worth it. The build is almost the same, but occasionally I change my items. Sometimes I go for Titanic Hydra if I want the damage, or for Steral's Gauge if I feel like I get bursted down too easily in fights. The shield from Steral Gauge really helps. If you're against an AP comp, I will recommend going for the build I am taking this game. Cinder Hulk with Locket of the Iron Solary, Frozen Mallet for the slow because slows, and Guard Angel. Last item could be either Steral's Gauge or Spirit Visage, and maybe if their AD carry is fed, you can also try to get a Tormail. Tormail might sound stupid against an AP team, but Tormail is always effective against an fed AD carry. Even if the other others are AP in the enemy team. And against an AD comp, I usually go for Cinderhawk followed by Randuin, Ninja Tabi if they don't have much CC. If they have CC, I will take Mercury Trades. Sometimes I also take Swifties, but they are pretty optional and they are useful only in a few cases. Most of the times Swifties are kinda useless since the nerf. Then you can also take Tormail as a third item after your Randuin. Also I said Tormail is always useful, especially against a full AD team. And you can also um, I talk about the situational items. If you don't need the extra damage from Titanic Hydra or the slow from Frozen Mallet, you can also take Redemption because that item is really OP now. It's more about the game and how you feel you should itemize for the specific games. I only take Redemption when I feel like I need to keep my team alive to win the game. Otherwise I never take it. Because you are kinda losing the power of Udyr by taking it, so don't take it every game because I don't feel like it will be useful every game. Sometimes you might need more damage because your team is really tanky and you lock damage, and you really don't need redemption in such a case, in my opinion. Especially in low elo, you should focus more on yourself and um, and your own strength. And redemption doesn't provide you much strength, but it could help your AD carry if you think your AD carry can carry the game, or your mid laner, depends. In this game I would have taken redemption if the game was harder, only because we didn't have much of a front line except for me and Braum, and Irelia could really wreck everybody if she survives, if you understand what I mean. That's pretty much about it. The game was kind of a stomp, I just used it as background as I talked about the build I'm using. So as a summary, the build against AD comps should be core items Cinderhulk with Randuin followed by Tormail against AD teams. Against mixed teams, I usually go for Cinderhulk with Randuin, Solary and Mercury Treads. It gives me the perfect amount of armor and magic resist. And against AP teams, just go for Cinderhulk and Locket of the Iron Solary with Guardian Angel. If you don't need Guardian Angel, even though I really like Guardian Angel when I'm ahead, because I can dive people and finish the game by diving. You can also take Banshee Veil if they have like a Morgana's Q which you want to block, or Spirit Visage if you don't need the passive from Banshee Veil. Situational items shall be Titanic Hydra, Sterax Cage, a Redemption, and Frozen Mallet. Frozen Mallet you should only take it when you need the extra slow to stay on top of the enemy carries. And Titanic Hydra if you want the burst and the damage to carry the game. Most likely if you're really fed and you really want to carry the game by yourself, the Titanic Hydra will give you enough damage to do just that. Sterak's gauge, I usually take it against teams with much damage, especially burst damage when they can burst me down and I die really fast even though I'm full tank. It really happens sometimes to die really fast even though you are going full tank. It's kinda annoying when it happens because you kinda feel like you lost your purpose. I mean you're dying too fast for a tank and you're basically not a tank anymore. And Sterak's gauge really helps with that. After your Courage of the Colossus shield is over, Sterak gauge will pretty much replace it. Redemption is really OP and you can take it um, in pretty much every situation, but I don't do that only in specific cases because I feel like I'll lose the power Udyr has and I don't want to do that. I want to be as strong as possible and be a threat to the enemy team, and I feel like you lose that if you go for redemption because it only gives you HP and it's basically a 2k gold item that gives you the stats of a giant's belt and it's pretty weak. But if you are behind or you are relying on your carries to win the game, you should definitely take redemption because it's a good item, a really good item. And that pretty much summers it up. This is the build I used, and since I pretty much got the elo I wanted, I'm not playing that much anymore. But I will try to do live gameplays if you guys wanted, in which I explain more, because I'm not really good at explaining on a replay. This video was more about talking about the build and summaring it up. Went to a lot of talking. Here we just take the Baron and end the game. Okay, I hope you don't forget the runes and masteries are in the description, and as always, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something from this video even though it wasn't the best quality I could offer to you. Uh, Even though I hope you got the informations you need, and I wish you luck at playing League and climbing with Udyr. See ya.